In Brussels, the third European Union CELAC summit is underway to promote reforms in the composition of the international financial system and energy transitions. On Monday, the Russian President Vladimir Putin labels as a terrorist attack what happened on the Crimean bridge and stressed that the Russian Defense Ministry is already preparing a retaliatory proposal. On Monday, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan arrived in Saudi Arabia at the start of the three-state Gulf tour. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Ana Marrero from the teleSUR headquarters in Caracas, Venezuela. We begin with the news. Stay with us. The third summit between the European Union and the Community of Latin American and Caribbean States began on Monday in the Bolivian capital. After 8 years without the regional forum, the meeting of the head of states and governments returned with the topics of the agenda, such as tackling climate change, the ecological transition, the digital transformation, the defense of human rights, peace, innovation, and the fight against inequality. For today's leaders representing 60 countries, 33 from the CELAC and 27 from the European Union, and more than 1 billion human beings will have the opportunity to build a joint path towards meeting the challenges. Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Rans Gonsalves, during the European Union CELAC summit, addressed the negative consequences of armed conflicts on the world economy and poor nations.
Consume abundant treasure and to cause the shedding of unnecessary blood. And the global economy bleeds unnecessarily too, as the warring and fighting bring enormous additional pain and suffering to the poor in distant lands through rising prices of food, oil, and borrowings. So let there be constructive peace talks, not unproductive posturing in quest of hegemony or imperial domination. Of course, Ukraine is not the only theater of war or armed conflict, which ravages people and destroys lives and livelihoods beyond the immediacy of the hazardous battlegrounds. These two demand peaceful resolution. The people of Haiti, the Palestinians, populations in the various parts of Africa, the Middle East and Asia, have more immediate challenges.
The President of Argentina, Alberto Fernandez, spoke about why the countries should be united even if the COVID-19 pandemic is already over.
COVID-19 pandemic has affected all Latin American countries in the Caribbean.
En un contexto en que las instituciones multilaterales fueron puestas a prueba por una crisis sin precedentes.
During this time, our economical growth and social and healthcare system has been put into proof through all this time with a very important pandemic which the world has never seen before.
En su plano externo, buscamos profundizar el relacionamiento tanto con nuestros socios extrarregionales como con distintos espacios y organismos de integración regional.
We plan to keep united between Latin American countries, but also we pretend to consolidate unity with other countries, especially through dialogue with the European Union.
The President of Honduras, Xiomara Castro, during her intervention in the European Union CELAC summit, condemned the United States blockade against Cuba and asked to make a joint declaration against it.
This EU-CELAC summit must adopt a resolution which calls for the end of the blockade against Cuba. The United Nations have condemned this as an arbitrary measure, obsolete, which destines a whole people to a situation of sacrifice where they could achieve a high standard of living.
During the third European Union CELAC summit, Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva called for a roadmap to reduce inequalities in the existing relations between the both regions.
between the two regions should reflect the realities and priorities of both sides of the Atlantic Ocean. For Latin America and the Caribbean region, this could be translated in a clear-cut focus in reducing inequalities and the eradication of hunger and poverty. We would have to find a roadmap to overcome the asymmetries that exist between social and economic development. Initiatives of mobilizing resources and investments are welcome, and they should also include technology transfers and a true integration of the production chain. We need a partnership that would end the International Labor Division that condemns Latin America and the Caribbean region to supply raw materials and migrant labor force that is badly paid and discriminated. The convergence between our regions should not be restricted to the interdependence of our economies. It should also happen in the field of our values.
In Greece, temperatures reached new highs on Monday as heat waves and wildfires scorched stretches of the northern hemisphere, forcing the evacuation of 1,200 children close to the Greece's high-size resort. Near Athens, forest fires flared in strong winds by the popular beach town of Eutraki, where the mayor said holiday camps for youngsters have come under threat. Emergency services were also battling wildfires in Kouvaras and the resorts of Lagonissis, Anissos, and Soranida near Athens. The number of people killed or missing due to torrential rains in recent days rose to 49 after 4 bodies were recovered from a subway road. The flood on central South Korea, authorities said on Monday. The Ansan Undergo Road in the central city of Cheongju was flooded on Saturday when a nearby river overflowed due to rising water levels from heavy rains. 15 vehicles, including a bus, were trapped underwater. Let's take a very short break, but remember you can now follow us on our TikTok account as teleSUR English. There you will be able to see news in different formats, news updates, and more. Stay tuned for more news. Welcome back to From the South. In Belgium, the People's Summit continues with activities focused on meeting the needs for peace and integration among the countries of the world. During the afternoon of this Monday, the debates and meetings continued in which the main problems that affect the peoples, among them decolonization and depatriarchalization, were addressed. These speakers also debate about the ecological figures, immigration, and the problems left by the capitalism model at a world level. At the People's Summit Brussels 2023, held in a parallel to the European EU-CELAC Summit, Cuban President Miguel Díaz-Canel expressed his satisfaction in participating in the event and also said that the People's Summit is the right place to share ideas and it is diverse, open, and truly participatory.
We're certainly very happy to share with you this People's Summit in 2023. We're here because this is a space where we can all share our thoughts and concerns. This is a place where people reunite to discuss the main problems in Latin America and the Caribbean. We are here in this meeting because here is where the people of Latin America talk.
In his speech at the People's Summit, the Colombian President Gustavo Petro referred to the climate crisis facing the world and highlighted the role of science in the fight against climate change.
Humanity is going through now a very serious environmental crisis, a crisis that 10 or 15 years ago we could not even conceive yet. But the science has talked, and we know now that it's a crisis thanks to the scientists, not to the politics. Once again, it's the science who is showing the truth, which is that we need to protect our planet, and is also the only one who is leading us through the correct path.
In his speech at the People's Summit, Bolivian President Luis Arce stated that he was in Belgium representing a nation that has said no to a soft coup and yes to an electoral process, and that the people of Bolivia fully support this People's Summit.
We are victims of the consumerism of capitalist countries. This has led now to a crisis, not only environmental but also economical. We're suffering now the effects of the capitalism. We're suffering very severe environmental problems that don't only affect Latin American countries, also affects developed countries. It affects the whole world.
On Sunday, Bolivian media report that the country's fourth sentencing court referred to the 10 years prison sentence imposed in 2022 on former de facto President Yanin Áñez in the so-called coup d'etat 2 case. Yanez was found guilty on a breach of duty and resolutions contrary to the Constitution and the law. She was accused by the prosecutor's office of having assumed the presidency of the state in 2019 and them of Bolivia without meeting constitutional requirements after the coup d'etat perpetrated against former President Evo Morales by the local right-wing external allies and the organizations of the American states. In Peru, disapproval of the Boluarte's government exceeds 80% according to the latest polls, while the legislature accumulates a popular rejection index over 90%. According to data from the CPI pollsters, the president's administration reached an 80.5% rejection rate 7 months after her appointment. The study points out that the regions with the highest disapproval of Boluarte's government are in the coast and upper highlands with a 90% negative lead index, followed by central and southern highlands with an 87.5% and the east with 84.5%. Let's take our last break, but before we invite you to visit our YouTube channel at teleSUR English. There you will be able to watch our interviews, top stories, special broadcasts, and more. Hit the subscribe button and active the notification bell to stay up to date to the world's most recent events. One final short break, don't go away. Welcome back. On Monday, Russian President Vladimir Putin labeled as a terrorist attack what happened on the Crimean bridge and stressed that the Russian Defense Ministry is already preparing a response. The attack damaged a section of the highway on the bridge, killing a man, a woman, and their daughter, a minor that was injured. Putin strongly condemned the attack on saying it was a senseless action, irrelevant from a military point of view, as the Crimean bridge is no longer being used for military transport.
The This crime is senseless. From a military point of view, has no significance, since the Crimean bridge has not been used for military transportation for a long time, and inhumane because innocent civilians were hurt and killed. There will, of course, be a response from Russia. The Defense Ministry is preparing relevant proposals.
Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan arrived in Saudi Arabia at the start of the three-state Gulf tour as he looks to attract foreign investments in his country's island economy. Erdogan landed in the Red Sea city of Jeddah to meet King Salman and Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman before hearing for the United Arab Emirates and Qatar later this week. The visit is the second of the Turkish president to Saudi Arabia since a rapprochement. Ties between the two countries were stirred by 2018 murder of Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi in the kingdom's Istanbul consulate. The two countries will sign several accords during Erdogan's trip as Ankara looks to non-Western partners from financial support, a senior Saudi official said. And on Sunday, Syria received the official visit of the Prime Minister of Iraq at the head of the high-level ministerial delegation. A visit that the Syrian authorities consider an excellent opportunity to build an institutional relationship and achieve a quantum leap in a bilateral cooperation between the two neighboring countries. Let's see.
This is the first visit of an Iraqi head of government to Syria in 13 years. The visit is aimed at developing and consolidating the historic bilateral relations, cooperation in several fields, and other issues of common interest. In particular, the joint efforts in the United Front in the fight against terrorism and its Western financiers.
Iraq offered the most valuable things it had to support Syria. In fact, the two countries united in a single battle to confront the terrorist organizations. I take this opportunity to salute the Iraqi army, which is an authentic Arab army, and also the popular mobilization forces who achieved the most epic victories in cooperation with their brothers in the Syrian Arab army and the Syrian backup forces.
Both sides took the opportunity to ratify their position defending border security, the elimination of terrorism, and the fight against drug trafficking as key elements for regional stability. They considered this stability essential to boost cooperation in various fields affected by Western coercive measures, including trade, transport, and industry, and ongoing coordination on various political issues.
Iraq supports measures aimed at lifting the sanctions imposed on Syria to achieve the interest of the Syrian people and to ensure the continued access and entry of necessary aid and necessities for all segments of the Syrian people in a manner that alleviates human suffering and the shortage of basic requirements for living.
The visit of the Iraqi leader to Damascus, beyond its diplomatic aspect, has important political and economic dimensions at a time when Iraq is beginning to regain its Arab and regional role, and Syria is opening up to the Arab world after more than 12 years of rupture.
We have come to the end of this news brief, but you can find this and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. You can also join us on our socials. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Anonymous as well. For Telesur English and from the South, I'm Ana Marrero. Thank you for watching.